Daddy right here. All right, today's 3:36. We are looking at a property in 35222. I don't think I've ever had a property here in 35222, but this property is over here in the east side of Birmingham in this area called Avondale. So this property is listed for $119,900. Let's go ahead and plug this thing in. 119,900. We got a rehab number. Let's see. This property looks relatively turnkey. Flooring is good. Maybe I'll set aside some money to paint. No dishwasher. Bathroom could use a little bit of love. Maybe just replace the tub or something like that. All right, so just very, very minor rehab. 119. So let me go to my rehab calculator. I'm gonna set aside money to paint that place, but the flooring looks fine. So 1530 should be enough. Let's see, I don't need any of these kitchen stuff. Maybe I want to repaint the cabinets. I don't. Maybe new shower stall right here, but one toilet is probably enough. Let me delete these guys. I don't have any of that. 1,500 square feet for the painting at $3 a square foot in row 86. I got $500 for landscaping, and I got $1,500 for the roof. So that gives me total rehab of 13 grand. That's probably a good amount, just considering the condition of the property, and I can't really tell if there's any issues with the roof or anything like that. So let's assume it's pretty good. So 119,900. Let's go and get the rent for this property, okay? The first thing I need to do is find out what county this is in. I'm pretty sure it's Jefferson County, and I confirm that just by looking up in Control, searching for the word county, and I see that's in Jefferson County. Next thing I need to do is I need to go Google HUD FMR. FMR stands for Fair Market Rents, and I'm going to click on the first link right here. I'm going to click on Access to Small Area FMRs. FMR stands for Fair Market Rents, just a quick reminder. Click on FY 2025, go to Alabama, and I'm going to go to Jefferson County. Oh, hi. You want to say hi? You say hi. Hi. Good job, Soleil. Thanks for saying hi. We're analyzing a deal today. Do you like looking at deals? Okay. Good job, Soleil. And now I want to go to 35222. And now I want to get the rent ceiling by bedroom count by zip code. So you see that a 3-bed is 1,420 and a 4-bed is 1,600. Let's write this one down. 1,420 and 1,600, 35222 and 35222. Okay. Now that we got these properties in here, 1,420, let's go ahead and take a look at the next piece of the property, which is getting the market rent. So in order to get the market rent, let me copy this address first. I'm going to go to affordablehousing.com. I'm going to go to the owner section, the market rent estimator, plug in the address, plug in the bedroom count, which is a 4-bedroom, and you can see, there's no way that's correct. $2,000. And even if it is, then we'll probably have to lower it to $1,600. But wow, 2.2, this is really high. I wonder why. So let's go ahead and write this number down, right? So this is what it is. 2010. This is probably the highest I've ever seen it. Let's see, 1940, 22228. And then this one is 2365. Now this is much, much higher than anything I've ever seen. So now, but if I'm renting for Section 8, I have to use the lower of the two, right? And this scenario, $1,600 is the lower of the two. Now I need to figure out what my utility allowances are so I can deduct it, because then that would become my max rent. So let's just use $1,500 for now as my baseline rent here, because if this number includes utilities and you don't provide utilities, you need to back out the utility allowances. Let's see if I can find a utility allowance for Jefferson County. Utility allowance 2024 Jefferson County Housing Authority. Jefferson County Housing Authority. Jefferson County Housing Authority. Utility allowances. If this is the Jefferson County and you're in a 4-bed and you do not, let me see, is this Jefferson County? Contact. Okay, this is the right Jefferson County. So This is a utility allowances, and if you're a 4-bedroom, you want to deduct it. So let's say you don't have Jefferson. I'm assuming it's right here. If you don't provide power, you deduct $96 right here. You deduct $40 right here for natural gas for heating, $40. So equals $1,600 minus $40 for natural gas, assuming there's natural gas, minus $96 for electric power. And then for cooling, I have to deduct $23 for cooling. You don't cover that, minus 23. And for cooking, I'm assuming natural gas, minus 15. Minus 15. I saw that. What's going on? Other electric, minus 75. Minus 75. Water heating, natural gas, minus 40. And water, minus 75 for Birmingham. Minus 75 for Birmingham. Minus 160 for the sewer. Wow. You're basically not getting it much anymore. Garbage. I'm assuming you might cover garbage, but if not, let's see. Jefferson City. I don't think this applies here. Tenant owner appliance. Minus 6 and 8 for the fridge and the microwave. We don't provide that, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so that's your maximum rent if you decide to follow that and not providing utilities. If you do, you can kind of add them back in. But let's go ahead and just analyze this as Section 8. And what if you really do get $2,000 for rent? All right, so now that I got $119,000, 1,062. Let's get my property tax number in here. $68 for my property taxes. For homeowner insurance, I'm going to get this 93 number and multiply by 1.2 because the insurance for a investment property is going to be more expensive. So I'm going to equals 93 times 1.2. Got 10% set aside for my maintenance. I got 10% set aside for my property management. I got 5% set aside for my vacancy. Now, if I get this property for 25% down and my closing cost is about 2.5% with a $13,000 renovation, my down payment is going to be equal to my asking price in B4 multiplied by my down payment percentage in F19. So that's how I get to $29,975. And then for my principal, I'm going to do equals my B4, my asking price, minus my down payment percentage. So I'm going to be financing $90,000 at 8% interest rate. So if I rent it out for $1,062, this would be a negative cash flowing deal. Okay, $1,062. All right. Now, my cash flow per month in that scenario is going to be negative 43, and that's going to be a negative 1.1% return, assuming I bought this property for $119,900. Now, that's assuming a $13,000 rehab. Okay, 25% down, 8% interest rate. So that's not a deal, right? And obviously, this is not investment advice. We're not soliciting any investments on this call. Just showing you how to analyze the deal from the get-go. Now, if you decide, let's say this property turned out to require double the amount of rehab. So you multiply that by 2. Now all of a sudden it's $26,000, right? At $26,000, what would make this a deal? Well, what if my rents go up to $2,000? If my rent is down $2,000, well, that is still a deal, right? It's $2,000 at cash flow of $660.56. But in this scenario, this would be a market rate property, not a Section 8 property. And now you got to figure out, okay, well, how do I find comps that support that a property that looks like this is going to rent out for $1,530? So let's go look at Zillow, 35222. I'm looking at the zip code. I'm looking for rent. I'm looking at 4-bedroom properties only. I'm looking for single family homes. And there's nothing here for 4 bedrooms. But when I look around here, let's say in here, what's this property? This is a 1450. So this is probably what I'm more confident in because this property is similar square footage, but it's better than ours because it has 1 more bathroom and it has more square footage. and it's at $14.50. And let's see. This property has been on Zillow for 10 days and it's only a one contact. So this might even be more expensive than what the market is willing to entertain. So you gotta be really careful here. $14.50. How about this one? This 4-bed is $2,000. So this is why you can see now that you get into it, you're like, okay, this might be a deal. Let me investigate further. Now, when you investigate further, now all of a sudden you said, hey, 25 units with a 2-mile radius is $2,000. Why is that? Well, that's probably because it's pulling in a property like this, which is $2,000 for a 4-bed, 3-bath, 2,400 square feet. Right? This home is very, very different than ours because it's nicer finishes, 2 extra bathrooms, and also almost an extra 1,000 square footage. This property is a 5-bed, 3-bath, and 2,300 square feet. So that is what's going to drive some confusion. $1,495 looks like, to be honest with you, the comps around here are still going to be $1,300. Like this property is $1,300. This property's condition is probably a little bit closer to us, even though it's like almost a completely different neighborhood. But you had to take it from the housing authority's perspective, right? This is a 4-bed, 2-bath, 1,200 square feet. Our property is a little bit more. So you're probably looking at 1,300 square feet because the other property is looking for, or the housing authority is looking for a more reasonable rent. So at 1,300 square feet, $1,300 a month, this is probably going to be closer to our comp. And this property has been on Zillow for 19 days with 29 contacts. It just tells me that it's fairly priced. If not, it might be a little bit under because my rule of thumb is looking for every day it's on the market for 1 contact. This is at $1,300. So for me, I don't think $2,000 is the right rent. I think it's probably going to be closer to $1,350. I might push it to $1,400. And at $1,400 with a let's lower the rehab back to a $13,000 rehab, that's not a deal. Right. So that's why, to me, initially, when you looked at it, you said, hey, this might be a deal. But then when you look deeper and you actually look at, okay, what are my comps around here and what are they actually renting out at, what are they being listed at, and what's the demand based on how many days it's been on the market and how many contacts there have been. Now you can figure out whether or not that rent was truly reasonable. And in this scenario, $1,400 is probably going to be closer to that stage. Okay. So if that is the case, then now all of a sudden for a $13,000 rehab, you can probably buy this property for $98,000, and this would still be a deal, assuming you can rent it out for $1,400 with a cash flow of $331 a month, and that's a 9.9% return on your capital, assuming you bought this property for $98,000, assuming you have a $13,000 rehab here. All right, so that's how I looked at this deal, and even though I saw that your market rent is 2010. That triggered me, right? Again, why do we do this, right? Our goal here is to, one, decide whether or not this property is worth our time to dig a little bit deeper. In all of our past years, we said, oh, wow, this is definitely not a deal. Today, because of what we saw on affordablehousing.com and saw that the rent was $2,000, we said, whoa, this might be a deal. So that triggered me to look deeper into the property. And that helped me realize that this was still not a deal because I wasn't able to find any good comps that suggested I can get $2,000 for the home of my caliber, which is this property I was looking at here. So hopefully that helps. All right. If you guys want a copy of the spreadsheet, go to affordablehousing.io, go to the get deal analysis tool, plug in your name, email, and phone number. That's the fastest way for you guys to get a copy of the spreadsheet. And ultimately, my goal is that you copy my homework, right? You look at the same property I looked at today, using the same process, using the same spreadsheet. I didn't make the spreadsheet from scratch. I got it from a few other folks. I combined it. I tweaked it so that I can analyze deals the quickest. And this allowed me to gain the comfort. And today, we got to see a little bit different, right? Today, you can, if you copy the homework correctly, you can go tell prospects to the partner whenever someone says, hey, why isn't this a deal? Well, I know it's a deal because I've been looking at deals for the past 336 days. And on top of that, what I also did was I also looked at other comps. Like I almost thought this was a deal. But then I got realistic and actually looked for comps because of the rent reasonableness test. And in that scenario, that's why I didn't think it was a deal. Okay. All right. I hope you all have an amazing Saturday. Enjoy the last day of August. I will be back here again tomorrow for day 337. Have a good one, everybody.